All right, let's dive into one of the most debated, joked about, and anxiety-inducing topics out there. Does size really matter? And no, I'm not talking about the size of your wallet, your car, or even your biceps. We're talking about that size, the one that's been the subject of locker room whispers, late-night Google searches, and more bad jokes than I can count. So here's the question. Does penis size actually matter when it comes to sexual satisfaction and the strength of a relationship? Is bigger really better? Are women secretly measuring and judging, or have we all been sold a myth wrapped in insecurity? Let's start with a little science because yes, people have actually studied this. Extensively, I might add. The average erect penis length, according to multiple studies, is about 5 inches. That's right, gentlemen, 5 inches. So if you're walking around thinking everyone else is walking around with some impossible size, breathe easy, you're probably just fine. But here's the thing. Most women really don't care about size nearly as much as men think they do. It's like when your girlfriend asks if she looks good in those jeans. You see jeans, she sees every imaginary flaw under the sun. It's the same thing. Studies show that women prioritize emotional connection, foreplay, and how you make them feel over whether you're packing the latest model from Mythical Manhood Enterprises. Now, does size ever matter? Well, sure, in certain situations. Some women prefer girth over length because it creates a feeling of fullness. Others might find larger sizes uncomfortable, even painful. And here's a twist. Being too big can actually create its own set of challenges. Limited positions, discomfort, and the constant fear of, let's just say, unintentional injury. So no, bigger isn't always better. Sometimes bigger is just more complicated. But let's get to the real question on everyone's mind. Can penis size impact a relationship? Well, science says no, not directly anyway. A relationship doesn't fail because of what's in your pants, it fails because of what's in your head. Insecurity, lack of communication, and not being emotionally available, those are the real relationship killers. Think about it. If you're constantly worried about whether you measure up, that insecurity is going to bleed into your confidence, your communication, and your overall connection with your partner. And let me tell you, confidence is far sexier than any measurement on a ruler. Now, what about satisfaction in the bedroom? Does size impact that? Again, research gives us a pretty clear answer. Technique, foreplay, and emotional intimacy matter far more than size ever will. Women aren't just physical creatures, they're emotional, mental, and yes, spiritual beings. If she feels safe, valued, and desired, the odds of her having a satisfying experience skyrocket. Let's put it this way. If intimacy were a recipe, penis size would be like the seasoning, not the main ingredient. The foundation is trust, communication, and connection. And trust me, nobody's making a Michelin star meal with just salt and pepper. Now let's address another fear some men have. Will she leave me if I'm not big enough? Look, if a woman leaves you solely because of your size, I've got news for you. She was going to leave anyway. Relationships built on something that's shallow aren't built to last. But most women don't think this way. They want emotional security, trust, and someone who makes them feel valued. If you're bringing those to the table, you're already ahead of the game. But okay, let's not pretend like this isn't a real insecurity for many men. If this is something that's genuinely bothering you, first, cut yourself some slack. Second, know that sexual satisfaction isn't about anatomy, it's about connection. And third, if insecurity about size is really affecting your confidence or intimacy, there's no shame in talking to a therapist, counselor, or even a medical professional. They're there to help, not judge. And hey, let's be real, women aren't exactly running around the streets with measuring tapes. The vast majority of women care about how you treat them, how you make them feel, and whether or not you're present, both physically and emotionally, when you're together. At the end of the day, intimacy isn't about performance, and it's certainly not about comparison. It's about connection, vulnerability, and showing up for your partner in a way that makes her feel safe, seen, and appreciated. So here's the takeaway, gentlemen. Size doesn't define satisfaction. Connection does. Confidence does. communication does. You don't need to be a superhero in the bedroom, you just need to be you. Show up with authenticity, pay attention to her needs, and for the love of all things romantic, don't treat intimacy like it's a competition sport. And if you're still hung up on size, remember this: the brain is the most powerful sex organ, not what's below the belt. If you can connect with her mind, the rest will follow. Now, before we wrap up, let me leave you with this. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you're struggling with intimacy, confidence, or insecurities, don't hesitate to reach out to a qualified professional. There's no shame in asking for help. It's one of the most courageous things you can do. All right, my friends, let's keep it real. Intimacy isn't about perfection. It's about presence, trust, and showing up as your best self every single time. Take care of yourself, take care of your partner, and remember, size might be a conversation starter, but connection, that's the real magic. Until next time, stay confident, stay kind, and keep showing up.